massive defeat in September and gives the coalition a 56% to 44% lead over the Gillard government on a two-party preferred basis. A Galaxy poll in News Limited papers puts the lead at 54 to 46, so very similar on both of them. Tony Abbot is also closing the gap on Julia Gillard in the preferred PM stakes. He now trails by just 2 points. Joining us, former Labor strategist Bruce Hawker in Sydney and former Liberal Party power broker Michael Kroger in Melbourne. Good morning, gents.
Morning,
Bruce, to you, on figures like that, Labor would be annihilated. How many seats would they lose?
Oh, probably in the order of about 20, I think, David. I haven't looked at the pendulum today, but I suspect there's a few people down in Canberra today saying, permission to panic, sir?
Yeah, any chance in history has a party come back from that sort of deficit?
It's hard to recall. I mean, John Howard has made some remarkable comebacks in the past. He was well down in the polls both in 2001 and 2004, ended up winning those elections. But this is going to be really hard. The main thing that Labor's got going for it right now is Tony Abbott, I've got to say, even though he's picked up in the preferred Prime Minister polls. I think that's really because, some of the sands rolled out of Gillard's bottle and into his more than anything else. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult for Labor.
Oh, that's a bit tough, Michael Kroger, is it? Tony Abbott is doing a pretty good job by those polls, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's been extremely solid as opposition leader, pretty well mistake-free, ran a great campaign in 2010. And I think what's happened, David, is that people now... Tony Abbott fell a bit in the polls, the coalition fell a bit in the polls during this whole misogyny debate because female voters think, oh, gee, we're not going to vote for a bloke who's a misogynist. Now they've worked out that was just a cynical tactic by Labor. The polls have reverted to norm. And to answer your question, Labor will lose between 14 and 25 seats, depending on which one of those two polls you believe. And I don't think Gillard can continue as she is. Labor are going to have to do something. It's very rare that the Federal Labor Party just sit on the bus and see it go over the cliff. Okay. Something has to happen.
OK, what will happen, Bruce Hawker?
Well, I'm not sure I'm the right person to ask that. I've made predictions in the past which have been very wrong. I suspect, though, that the boat is left as far as Kevin Rudd's concerned, if that's what the question is. I think the main thing that the Labor Party has to avoid doing now is panicking. They really need to try to draw a line under the last week, which frankly has been pretty terrible for them, and go into the Parliament, with the new team and try to rebuild from there. We know that Gillard is a tough fighter, and she has pulled back considerably in the past from big leads that Abbott's had. So they've just got to look to that more than anything else right now, but I think it's a very, very, very big ask. OK, speculation. Former Victorian Premier Steve Bracks could run in the safe Labor seat being vacated by Nicola Roxon. Bruce, is that what the party needs? Well, I think it'd be wonderful to have Steve Bracks back. I don't know that he would be all that interested, having spent so many years as a very successful Premier of Victoria. But I've always thought that we need a really good mix of youth and experience, and probably somebody of his strength would complement the qualities that you see Bob Carr bringing to the front bench now. Real experience, steady hand at the tiller in tough times.
Michael Kroger, do you agree? Is he still well loved in Victoria?
Yeah, he's very well respected. He was a successful Labor Premier as far as they go, and left on top. He's a very decent fellow, experienced. He'd actually be quite a good pick. And God, Labor needs something in Victoria. They're struggling badly here federally in the polls. Braxy would probably be a good choice for them, actually.
OK. All right, gentlemen, it's going to be a fascinating year. Good to see you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Pleasure.